4 minutes in, let's get it started.
All right. Good morning, AVR, DC. Welcome to the podcast. It's Wednesday, and
This is what they call a streak.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. We got Star Wars on the big screen back here.
Yeah, we're trying something a little different today. We've got video available now. We're actually at the bottom, because this is in reverse, right? So the bottom right-hand side, you will see, you'll get a free viewing of the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
And then we've got other kind of sports. I think VSiN Network's there, which is a pretty good gambling podcast. I listen to a bit of VSiN. I think that whole thing was started by Brent Musburger when he left doing, if anybody remembers Brent Musburger, which you should, ABC college football games always started with "You are looking live at blah 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 blah."
Yep.
Big degenerate gambler, big fan of Brent Musburger. He went to Vegas, I believe, started his own like gambling shows, and works for VSiN Network. Does he's so rich now that he's doing just a 20-minute spot every week.
Yeah,
and puts out a couple of big picks.
But he was always the guy that, at the end of the game, the garbage time field goal, he'd be like, "This might not mean a lot to some of you."
Yeah. He did that. Al Michaels leans a little bit in that, but Brent Musburger, you're right. That's a good point. Brent Musburger would always be the guy that was very much aware of the spread. Also, Brent Musburger was a big fan of whomever the camera people were, especially during a college football game.
Oh, yeah.
The cameras would pan to
the co-eds,
attractive looking individuals, and he would always make some sort of comment. So I do remember some Florida State games like that. Since it is May the 4th, and obviously we have Sean Doolittle here. That's this big
Happy Doolittle Day.
Yeah, he's a big Star Wars guy. You got a favorite Star Wars movie?
No, I mean, I was pretty young when the original one came out. I don't remember seeing it in the movie theater, but we didn't have that much money, so I might have been the first time I saw it. It might have been from a Blockbuster or whatever.
Okay.
I think it definitely, as a kid, it was cool, but I think it got to be more as I got a little bit older in my teenage years, damn, how do they do that?
Yeah.
Kind of a thing,
Yeah.
There's a really cool podcast I listened to kind of about the rise of Spielberg and
Lucas
and how just no one wanted to back the film.
Yep.
He had made a film before then that flopped. It was like a musical.
Okay.
And it was terrible. And so this, kind of became an issue. And then Mark Hamill got into an accident in the filming, and it's a little bit of a deformity they were worried about. Yeah.
Harrison Ford was a rising star.
Yep.
Right. So remember, Harrison Ford is doing that, which then catapulted him into the Raiders of the Lost, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones franchise. But just think about the world that Spielberg, was really Lucas, created, and now they're literally just printing money. They can't do anything wrong. For those of you that are Star Wars guys, and I am one, Obi-Wan Kenobi's new trailer just came out, I believe, this morning. Of course, they're going to release it on May the 4th. I haven't watched it yet either. I was busy, putting together these notes and whatnot.
Working with the analytics.
Yeah. I barely remember seeing Return of the Jedi as a kid, and Empire Strikes Back is my favorite of all of them, just because I kind of like a bad ending. Yeah. I don't mind bad endings, and I like the way that the vibe of Empire was pretty good. Seen them all, went to a lot of them, obviously, with Dad when the new ones would come out. The first toy I ever had, apparently, I stole a Luke Skywalker figurine from a nursery.
Okay.
Or something. Yeah. And then that's basically what spawned every time Christmas or birthday would come around, because Dad was deployed all the time, he would buy my love by just bringing me more Star Wars. Thanks, Dad. Appreciate it. Anyway, big night for the district last night.
Huge.
Capitals, substantial underdogs, knocked off the Stanley Cup's playoffs top-seeded Florida Panthers 4-2. And then the Nationals boat raced the Colorado Rockies 10-2.
Oh, I think they just scored another run.
Yeah. And Max Scherzer was thrown out of a game that he didn't pitch in.
That's so on brand.
I think we should kind of pay attention to things that Max does. No, he's not here anymore, but Max Scherzer still, everybody here loves him.
Imagine being a Mets fan, wait, the pitcher that's not pitching just got thrown out of the game? That's weird. And all the Nats are
he was arguing balls and strikes calls from the bullpen. Happened in the 6th inning. He was still upset about a strike 3 call on one of the Mets, and was letting the umpire have it. And the umpire just tossed him. So they just went,
You imagine being his neighbor and like you just accidentally leave the trash can out like one extra day in the yard, and he just comes home and just gives you that look.
He's one of the he is of this generation, and you're moving past like the Greg Maddux era of like the last 15 to 20 years. The bigger guys are Verlander, Kershaw, Scherzer, in no particular order, all great. Those are the best guys that we've had the last 15.
Yeah, and I mean,
years.
if you talk about like competitive spirit and just like
You're not
I mean, I think he's Jordan.
He's old school. He's old
You
school.
know,
Yeah.
I mean, his flu game might have been the black eye, right?
100%. 100%.
So, and just an absolute competitor, go getter.
We're not going to talk about the fact that the black eye game was. I mean, we're not going to point out that was a self-inflicted wound, right?
No, whatever. Might be why might be why pitchers don't hit anymore.
Yeah, right. Did you watch the game last night? Did you watch Caps?
I watched a little tiny bit of Caps. You know what's crazy is I can't. So we cord cut it at the house because I'm never there. And the only real reason for us to have had cable was for me to watch sports, and I'm never at home, so no point in paying.
You pay enough here for cable.
I pay a lot here for cable. And so,
what's your Sunday? What's the DirecTV Sunday ticket?
It's big. It's probably.
I found this out yesterday.
It's probably 5 times more than most people's mortgage is the Sunday ticket here, right? Just to put it into kind of rough proximities.
I love it.
So I cannot watch baseball at the house because of the MLB blackouts, and it's just so dumb. They just absolutely hate providing their game to people who want to watch it. But with 2 clicks of a button, I was able to watch the Caps game on my phone.
Yeah.
So I was mostly watching that. Didn't really get tuned in until about 12 minutes into the third period. I was kind of one eye on it, one eye off of it, but then was able to just kind of sit there and chill and watch the rest of the game. So, I mean, pretty good. I was, of course, just like everybody else, a little bit worried that, what would Ovi look like?
Yep.
Looked like he only had about 17 and a half minutes, which is a little light for him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But look, if you can win a game and Ovi's only getting 17 and a half minutes, that's great.
Yep.
Willie taking a freaking hockey stick right to the dome.
Yep.
It's fortunate that he's such a good looking character.
Yeah.
That's just going to add a little bit of, quality to him.
Mm-hmm. Chicks dig scars.
Yeah.
Although he's married.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing that was weird and I didn't really understand is that it didn't look like that egregious of a stick to the face. They said he came out and skated during the second intermission, or maybe the first intermission before the second period.
And then he left.
Yeah. So you almost kind of worry there, like, was it more of a concussion kind of a thing versus, usually those dudes will just stitch it up, cauterize it, get back out there. So, and then they said lower body injury, which your face usually not part of your lower body. So that's, a little wonky as well. So we'll see. And then, obviously the
one I'm worried about is
Carlson late hit. Yep. The game was in hand. They said he went right down the tunnel. Look, you hope it's not a concussion or anything, but there's a couple days before the next game. He's a hockey player. He's going to play.
Yep. So I came here, sat at the end of the bar there. I was next to some guys that you had a lot of soccer. What's wrong with me? I don't know. A lot of hockey, a lot of Capitals hockey sweaters in here.
Good.
I'm not gonna pretend to be a hockey guy because this is when I do get energized to the playoffs. Yeah. I don't know a whole lot.
You're not watching 82 games either.
No. Right. Every year, hockey, NHL is the sport that, at least for the last 10 years, I've said, this is the year I get into this. I'm going to watch it more and more and more. I've bought the hockey package at my place. Don't have to now. Thank you very much. But when I watched it, I was at the end. I was next to some guys that obviously are some kind of diehards, hockey in general. They kept saying, and it looked the same to me, like the first and second period, the Capitals had a lot of opportunities. They started off the game with 2 guys for the Panthers in the box and couldn't really capitalize.
We call that a 5-on-3.
Yep, 5-on-3. They wound up getting a goal 1-0, but they looked kind of lethargic. It just didn't look they didn't look like they were taking advantage of the opportunities that were given them. And the Florida Panthers, being the team that they are, won the most games in the regular season. Everybody was kind of assuming, because the Capitals were such heavy underdogs, that this thing would you've got to take advantage of the opportunities that you have. They just didn't. Kept it close. They were down 2-1. going into the third period, and a couple stats that I pulled that I didn't know. Teams are 0-39-1 against Florida in the regular season when trailing after 2 periods, and then 0-22 when it's in Florida.
Yeah.
So this is a damn good team.
Well, that's why they say you play hockey on the ice, not on paper.
Right. And one of the other things they
I don't
point
know
out
if
is
anybody says that, but
regular season hockey is different than playoff hockey.
absolutely.
And if we can muck it up and make it difficult, and also they kept pointing out on the broadcast, one of the things that Brett did here was put the sound on so you kind of hear it, which is good.
Yeah.
It really kind of adds, because there's nothing like NHL playoffs, and when it comes down to all the different playoff options that you have, the NHL is probably the best.
Yeah,
but they kept the announced crew kept stating the Washington Capitals playoff experience is one of those things that's paying dividends right now.
Yeah, and they're a big team, and they hit.
Yeah.
Now, look at in the third period, Ovi got a little less time than he normally would. They're up by 2. He's probably a little sore or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna keep rolling out your third and fourth liners to kind of slow the thing down. But that dude hits, man.
Yep.
He is built like a brick house.
Yeah.
And he hits, and Willie hits. And that sort of thing, like you just keep getting punched in the mouth. And then eventually that like you just kind of start avoiding it a little bit. And so that's kind of one of the things that as the Caps have gotten a little older, they have that like grind it out sort of mentality. Bob, also the goalie for Florida, has a bit of a history of winning president's trophies during the season of having the greatest, being the greatest, of all time. And then in the playoffs, just little lack of attention to detail. That's 1 or 2 slip by. But I mean, look, Ovi had a poke check to Kuzi breakaway.
What's a poke check?
So Ovi was forward checking. So there's the defensemen are bringing the puck up the ice, right? Ovi was kind of sticking to the defender, harder than you would expect the greatest goal scorer to ever play. Jack the puck, right? Pokes it loose, and Kuzi just happens to be there, and it's just mano a mano at that point in time. And it's hard to stop somebody on a breakaway.
Yeah.
The Osh goal late, mid part of the third period, just a beautiful pass.
Yep.
And he buries it
from Backstrom.
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody to pass it better, probably ever. And Osh missed a lot of time this year, so it's kind of nice seeing him get that goal.
I've met Oshie a couple times. He's just a great dude.
Seems like
ran into him at a Home Depot. One time. Just kind of a regular cat.
It sounds like exactly where one would meet Osh. So it was a great first win.
Wilson scored. Kuznetsov scored. Eller had the open netter. And then the one thing, because it was a couple of hockey hardos down here, but I think they knew what they were talking about. They just kept ripping Vanacek, the goalie, and then it seemed like, I mean, he stopped 30 shots after he gave up the second one at the very beginning of the second period. He was basically ice cold. That was the slap shot from. Look at me, hockey.
Yeah, I mean, I think the goalie situation for the Caps, when we went on the run,
Holtby got hot.
Holtby, you knew who the guy was going to be, right?
Yeah.
And now it's almost like, well, Samsonov is sometimes it's hot.
Yeah.
And then so it's weird.
So they're going to rotate between those two, right?
No, I wouldn't think so. I mean,
Vanacek's going to be the guy.
If you win, I mean, I don't know how you sit the guy. Now, if he come in and get lit up the next game 6-0, then maybe you sit him. But I did hear a statistic. It's that the team that wins game 1, 69% of the time wins the series.
Every time.
I think you're supposed to say nice.
Nice.
You hear that.
That's what she said.
But it's look, we were creating some watch party stuff yesterday, and we said, look, if you win game 1, at least you get a game 5, and game 5 might be round 2.
I think a friend of ours, Mark, has playoff tickets, so
your friend
might be dialing into that. Other games. Do you have anything else on Caps?
No.
Game 2 will be tomorrow night, probably about the same time.
Yep, we'll be here 7:30. Sound on.
We've got a promo out for that.
Pushing a lot of old time lager right now. Pushing a lot of buckets of wings.
Was it going Eventbrite or going on the webpage? What is it?
Just go everywhere.
Yeah, and you'll see like an invite or something. Yeah,
follow the path. We're trying to get people in the city to get behind Old Time Lager.
Yeah,
it's just a great cheap beer.
Yep,
made locally, cool can.
Yeah,
so we're buying people their first beer if you come on out and watch Caps game.
Yep. Other games, Penguins knocked off the Rangers 4-3. That game was in triple overtime. Imagine running out of beer. They stopped serving beer in the third period.
Yeah,
and you got to sit there for another 3 overtimes.
just so wish that the Pittsburgh Penguins would lose every game.
But I think it would be fitting for the Capitals and Penguins. Let's do this one more time.
I'm scared.
Do this one more time.
I'm scared.
Avalanche 7-2 over the Predators. Flames 1-0. I bet every hockey match or every hockey game, it didn't go well. So I was on the wrong side of a lot of stuff. So I had this great
analytics is going to show stop betting except on Mondays.
Yeah, you're probably right. Okay, moving on to MLB. Washington had a big the Nationals had a big day last night. 8:40 start. They wound up beating the Colorado Rockies 10-2. Really big night from guys like Josh Bell. Soto damn near had 2 homers because in the first inning he went oppo as well and came just short.
Yep.
But him and Josh Bell both went opposite field. Yadi Hernandez continues to bat pretty well. Yep. Yeah, Josh Bell went 3 for 5. Yadi Hernandez 3 for 5.
Yep. Franco 2 for 4.
Franco 2 for 4. Yep. Yeah. Ruiz 3 for 4. So, and Victor Robles still sitting there around 242. Unfortunately, he went 0 for 4. But
0 for, I think, got an RBI.
Yeah, but I think the bigger story is Eric Fetty.
Who?
Eric Fetty.
7 innings in Colorado.
Yeah, 7 innings.
100 pitches.
Yep, 3 Ks. Yeah, went 100. So,
Extended.
Yeah, very, very good outing for the Nationals. But coming off of taking 2 of 3 in San Francisco, now going into Colorado for a 3-game set. It's good to start off.
You did not take the over last night.
I didn't
expect that Colorado scores 2.
Yeah,
I did.
And if Colorado only scores 2, if somebody told you that, you're like, I'm not hitting this over.
No. Yeah. So look, 2 relievers used.
Yep.
Right.
Ramirez.
Fetty, other than that one game that he got lit up, in about 2 innings, has been, serviceable. I mean, yesterday we kind of talked about Josiah being a frontline starter for the team.
Yeah.
Fetty could be that middle to back end, just consistent guy. Mm-hmm. He's got good stuff, and he just has these like bipolar episodes of like
looking like Eli Manning.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, an inning and a half, 2 innings, and he gets lit up.
Yeah.
And then, the next day comes out in Colorado, throws 7. I think they were saying on Match Chat that was the first time anybody's won 7 for the Nationals since 2015.
No.
In Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, not overall. That was weird. But no. In
kidding.
Colorado, a starter going 7. They said it was a guy, I don't remember seeing a pitch named Steven Strasburg.
Yeah. Well, tonight, what's the over-under on how many innings you think Patrick Corbin's going to go?
I am going to listen. I got probably
take the
$19 in my freaking pocket. No, more than that. I'm taking 55.
Yeah.
And I'm going to
Patrick Corbin. Yeah, Patrick Corbin tonight against Austin Gomber. Patrick Corbin 0-4 for the season, 8.69 ERA. Gomber, but both these guys are lefties actually. 1-2, 3.86.
Ooh.
He's had one good start.
Yeah,
he's had one good start, and
so he'll throw a no hitter.
No,
right? That's going to be a weird thing.
Can you bet over under on like how many innings? There's got to be some offshore
weird bet up there somewhere where
you got to go offshore.
I mean, and that's probably why last night.
What is the over under?
Davey used 2 bullpen guys, right? When you probably didn't need to, but like, you know what? Old Patty's going to be out there tomorrow. We might need 9 relievers to get through that game.
Yeah. Over under for tonight.
I say it's 11.
10.5 again.
Bet it.
Yeah, 10.5 again.
Bet.
I got to think Colorado's bats wake up against Corbin.
Yeah, because they're not a bad baseball team.
No. I mean, they're like
lose,
13-9,
4-5.
13-9, 13-10, something like that.
I wish we were 13-10.
Yeah. In other news around the league, Mets took both games. So the Mets dropped game 1 of a 4-game series. Yeah, 4-game series against the Braves 2 days ago. Then they had a doubleheader today. Took both sides of that. Max Scherzer again was thrown out in the late slate. Beat the Braves at 3 p.m. at 5-4, and then shut them out in the evening 3-0. Rangers dropped the Phillies 6-4. So the National League East just kind of getting beat up a little bit. Yankees 1-11 in a row. really kind of a cool moment last night. I think this was kind of a bounce back moment for Yankee fans. There was a home run that was hit by Aaron Judge.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and a Toronto Blue Jays fan grabbed it, and there's a kid there wearing an Aaron Judge jersey or wearing a jersey shirt. And the Toronto fan, without missing a beat, is like, "Hey, here's your ball." The kid gives him a big hug. So whenever you're saying now, these aren't the bleacher creatures from like that were throwing.
It's also Canada. Everybody just
everybody's nice. Kind of nice. It's kind of like Minnesota people.
Yeah.
Like
unlike the Wrigley crowd.
Yeah,
just a bunch of
if you didn't see this, there's a video on Twitter. You could probably just search on Twitter Wrigley fight or Cubs.
It's on our feed.
Yeah, it's
our boys at Ivy and Coney at Big Cubs Bar.
Yeah,
I called them right out.
Yeah, a couple of fat guys that are basically fighting each other in slow motion, but in real life. Am I right?
So,
and then there's people just got I like the people that are holding people back, like, hey, no one's really getting hurt here.
Rah. Yeah. And the dude who goes, that guy's my rock.
I love it.
Just everyone obliterated in this.
Yeah, game. And I think the Cubs took one on the chin too. So everybody back there is just that's how the Cubs fans used to be. Like when we were growing up, you'd come home from school, go on WGN, the people would be out in the bleachers and they're just sauced the whole time.
Yep.
So you know, they had their few years of winning with Rizzo and Bryant and Baez. Now the Cubs are honestly, people talk a lot of shit about the Nationals right now. Cubs are rebuilding too.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of teams that had some pretty fortunate years in the mid 2010s that now are doing the same thing. I mean, they sold in the same vein that Nationals fans are going through it right now. Cubs fans are really identified with guys like Baez, Bryant, and Rizzo.
Yeah.
And like shipping all those guys off, they're doing the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I wanted to talk about this with the Nats. Bell is stroking it right now, right? I mean,
I think I know where you're going with this.
It's hard to get into the All-Star game as a first baseman, right? Because everyone just mashes at first base.
You got Freeman. I mean, it's a massive. You got a lot of good first basemen in the league.
And the knock, my 100% knock on the Nationals is they somehow refuse to pick up the phone and make a phone call to the agent, which is Scott Boras in this situation.
Is he Bell's a Boras guy?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, like if you don't have Boras as your agent, you're pooping.
Yeah.
So, you know, the money's going to be big, but if you can't lock him up by the trade deadline, you have to trade him.
Yep.
You know,
and he's batting like 350.
He might be batting 400 by then. A switch hitting.
He's batting 366 right now.
And now everybody's got a DH.
464 right? OBP. No big
deal.
He
could go be a DH for somebody. He could be a first baseman. He could, split a little bit of time. So, I mean, that's a commodity.
And he wants to be on a contender. Like he was with the Pirates.
Yeah.
And now he's with us. He basically went from same.
Yeah.
At the time.
I mean, I would think that, like, look, if you come up in the Pirates organization, you realize, like, that's just like a quadruple A-ball club. They just
keep Brian Hayes is the only guy they've paid so far. He's a stud. I think he's their shortstop or third baseman. Yeah.
But I mean, you come here, he came to a team that was supposed to be good.
Yep.
And has turned out to be a part of a rebuilding process, right? Look, the Michael Franco shipper, right? Please bat 280, hit 12 bolts by the midway point and trade his ass out of here.
Yep.
Victor Cruz,
you can go through this.
Trade him, but man, I would love to see them re-sign Bell. Just seems like a really good guy, good part of the community.
Yep.
Good clubhouse guy.
He walks around the neighborhood. Apparently, people run into him.
Probably. He's always reading books.
Yeah.
And so
that was the bad thing last year. Remember, they had the big thing up like the Bell's Book Club. There was somebody had memed it was like, the Dummy's Guide to Hitting.
Yeah. Yeah, well, people.
That was last year, not this year. Not this year.
Last year, first month was rough.
Yeah,
but I think if you look over the last year, that dude is stroking.
Yeah, no, he's playing very well.
You
could argue him and Yadiel Hernandez are carrying the Nationals right now.
I don't think you could argue it because that's definitively.
Also, Juan Soto, 5 home runs, 6 RBIs.
Yeah, I mean, look, Soto's going to be 5.
No. I'm pointing out that still nobody's getting. It goes back to our conversation.
Yeah. Guys, when you hit solo bolts all the time, it is what it is. And ultimately it might be a thing where they move some guys around there. But I guess at some point in time, the Nats, you've got to make him an offer, right? You can't not make him an offer. I don't really know if they did anything in the offseason that would have drawn attention to it, but you know, you got to make an offer. You got to leak it so that the Nats fans understand what you did.
Yep.
You know, I don't know what you pay a slightly older first baseman, especially now that there's a DH.
In 2022, Bell will earn a base salary of $10 million.
Okay, I think this
total
is
salary.
last year of arbitration.
Yep. So
last year of arbitration.
Yeah, you're right. So you have to move him, and
so
there's going to be a contender looking for a first baseman DH that's a switch hitter.
Of course. I mean, everyone wants a guy that can hit like he's hitting. I mean, he's arguably
he's also not old.
Top 10. I think he's 28, 29 maybe. Yeah. And you know, a lot of times what you look at is like, what will he be next year? Because that kind of devalues the guy a little bit. But I mean, the
29.
He's 29. Okay, so you know he's not going to sign a 6, 7, 8 year deal. Probably he wants one. Yeah, you know, and maybe somebody gives it to him.
Yeah,
but look, I mean, 10 to 15% of the league is actively trying to spend negative amounts of money.
Yeah,
and so you know, I think you got to put an offer out there, maybe 4 or 5 years, especially with the DH. He could DH. Look, Victor Cruz is 41 and he's not having a great year this year, and last year he kind of tailed off a little bit, but if you keep your body right, it looks like you can DH till you're 40. Yeah. So 10 years, 300 million, about it.
Yeah. Last thing from around the MLB, Dusty Baker last night.
Amazing.
He's the 12th manager to reach 2,000 wins, first African American. What I loved about it, I mean, Dusty Baker's one of these legends. He's going to go into the Hall. He's probably never.
He should have a Hall.
He's probably never going to win a World Series as a manager. Wish he could have. Really, you know, there was a part of me that was pulling for him last year with the Astros.
Fan right now.
Yeah, with the Astros, but you know, there's the other side of me that's like, no, screw that guy.
Yeah.
Or screw the Astros. It spawned the GOAT, Barry Bonds, actually went on Instagram and said, "Hey, thanks, you know, spent a lot of years with him and stuff." It's always good for Barry to come out of hiding. But also, this was interesting. Darren Baker walked off high A ball, Wilmington, bottom of the 10th, sacrifice fly. Those are just weird things that happen.
Yeah. It was cool. And I think you saw it during spring training where Davey sent
presented the lineup
card. Yeah. Pretty special. Not everybody gets to be a coach till you're 107 years old. So.
Well, going into tonight, into the weekend, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. We've got some stuff going, you know, Kentucky Derby. Yeah. We've got a lot of events happening this weekend, UFC. As far as today, if you're, you know, watching soccer, today's Champions League semifinal, Real Madrid.
Yesterday. I mean, I'm not a huge soccer guy.
Villarreal and Liverpool.
But yeah, and I mean, they do that wacky bit where it's a 2-game series. I don't know whoever thought of that, but whatever. So today's game, I think somebody's up 2-0, but we'll have it sound on. It was yesterday. It was only in Spanish. I don't understand how that works. But.
I don't know what the line is on this Real Madrid Man City match, but I'm going to take Man City. Don't know why, but I'm going to take Man City.
I would think that what you would do is take the team that has to score all the goals.
That's a good point.
Win.
That's a good point.
I have no idea.
Yeah, because this is probably match 2.
Because I mean, like, you got to be like Florida and pull your goalie at like halftime. Right. If you need 4 goals to win, I mean, you just got to get in there.
76ers Heat game 2. Sixers are down 1 game. Mavericks Suns game 2. This 7:30 and 10 p.m. respectively. Suns are also up 1 game. So we'll have some NBA playoffs. Obviously, you got Nationals. I think same start time, 8:40. Yep. You've got NHL playoffs, the other side of the slate. So, you know, we talked about like the Toronto Maple Leafs. We got a bartender here, big Maple Leafs fan, so he'll definitely be plugged into that. Yeah. I had one question for you about stuff that happened what's the Met Gala?
I don't know.
Did you see that?
I mean, I see it. Everybody gets dressed up.
What are they doing there?
Rich people shit.
Yeah, but I just don't.
Rich people and like hot people.
Is it just like an opportunity to flex?
Well, you wore a tuxedo in the last.
No, I know, but
it's got. I mean, the Metropolitan, right? That's a big art museum.
But like, what are they doing there?
It's probably to raise money for the art museum. I don't know. Maybe they're in there.
If anybody knows what people are actually doing, because I'm not going to
listen to our pod.
I'm not going to. Yeah, that'd be sick. I'm not going to take the time to actually look up what people do in the Met Gala. But if you want to like hit us up on Twitter or something and like let me know, like, is it a donation thing? And there's some ridiculous outfits. Elon Musk looked kind of legit though. He took his mom.
Good.
Yeah, I'd take my mom. Yeah, I take my mom.
I saw one of the Kardashian crew like
Mhm.
walked up to fix his tie or something.
Yeah.
I honestly thought it was Schwarzenegger from like the weird.
Yeah.
It sort of kind of looked.
He was kind of doing like some meme poses and I think he knows, like,
I
you know, and
think
everybody's
it's
asking
just-
questions about
It's
Twitter.
probably like $100,000 to get in.
Yeah.
Which, you know, for some of those people is like it's nothing. But
it's,
other
it's
people are
more
like,
than it's more than that.
maybe maybe $1 million.
Yeah.
$1 million to get in.
It's
So it's just like if you have a spare $1 million, you get to come to this party.
you found $1 million
it's-
just under your
and it's
couch.
that, right? And then there's probably like 100 hot chicks,
Yeah.
right? And
It's just like supermodels and like bros.
Not me.
I would go. I want to go. I just want to go and like, what's up?
You better start bartending a little bit more. I don't know if it's gonna come up with a spare $1 million.
Talk to Brett
You
again.
should next Monday just take your entire retirement.
Jared Leto,
Ready.
I think, looked ridiculous. There's some I don't know.
That dude was great in WeWork.
I liked him in what's WeWork?
The pod or the WeWork is the Apple podcast. The story of
Okay.
a whack company that thought they were worth hundreds of trillions of dollars providing apartment or a co-work space for some reason.
Dallas Buyers Club.
Yeah.
Jared Leto was amazing in that with Matthew McConaughey. Absolutely amazing. Anyway,
He's dreamy.
He got his face punched in Fight Club too. That was probably the best version I've seen of Jared Leto. Anyway,
they're done that.
I don't have anything else.
Nope.
You got anything else?
No.
This is 2 days back to back. We had to make it up to the people. So
The people started to talk a little trash.
yeah.
We
You got some
definitely had
text
people who were
messages.
like, "Oh, hey, remember when you guys did that podcast? That was cool."
Yeah. And this is number 10. So we've unlocked another badge on Buzzsprout. So
Badges.
Yeah.
Make your plans to be at Walters Thursday night for a little NHL hockey.
Yeah.
We go 2-0 on
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah.
And you know, maybe the Nats take one today and be 2 series wins in a row. That'd be weird.
Yeah.
Like it. And then that would maybe energize the crowd a little bit. Come next Tuesday to come home, you know, put a few more fans in the seats.
This podcast will be on Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff. Where could they find this video? Do you know what you're going to do with this?
No idea.
Okay. We're going to figure that out.
It might not even be a thing.
Yeah.
Might
We're constantly failing upwards.
Yep.
So we'll talk to you guys later. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.
Deuces.